Alright you guys, what's going on? Just got through having a huge, tremendous storm. I mean, it come down hard and fast. Had to go hide out for a while. So anyway, we're drying up here, and I'm here working on this little old Rheem. And I was adding a little refrigerant to it, and I took my Inrush amp draw on this little sucker. Let's see what we got here. A little 2.5. 98. Still doing pretty good. It always needs just about 3/4 of a pound every year or so. And anyway, I took my Inrush amp draw on this thing, and it come up a little high. The data plate is calling for 76. So if we find our LRA, we're looking at 76. The first time I started it back up, I come up like 96, which is too high. I found in the years of taking Inrush amps that 10 amps over the data plate is nothing to be too awfully concerned about. That's pretty typical to see 10 amps over. You got to allow for a little bit of, plus or minus accuracy with your meter and all that. So I don't get bent out of shape over 10 amps, but you start getting up 15, 20 amps over, now you got to look at doing something. On this Rheem, I'm going to try adding an SPP6 Super Boost. That's adequate on smaller units, 4 tons and under. Your Goodmans, old Janitrals, Rude, Rheem, units like that, SPP6s can make a difference, and they're adequate. Now, if you're talking Train, American Standard equipment, something that had a factory start assist on there, that had the potential relay and capacitor in the combo there, the SPP6 just not going to do it. I don't know how many Train units that I've been to over the years where some guy come along, found the factory start capacitor bad, slapped on a SPP6. Now here it is a year or less, and the compressor is shot. It's locked up, done. They're having to replace a unit. So I've just seen that too many times, so I just go by the general rule of thumb. If it's Train, American Standard, any other type of unit that came with a factory start assist with the relay, put that back on there. Whether it's the factory one, whether it's a OEM approved 521 kit, whatever you want to use, go back with that, properly size it for the tonnage a unit. And that's especially when it's 4 tons or over. I just do not put a SPP6 on those units. So this one here, we're going to go ahead and fire it up one more time to see what we pull on it. If it comes up high again, we'll disconnect it, we'll let it sit there for a little while, and then we'll pop the SPP6 on and see what it does. So let's go ahead, throw in our disconnect here. We got our meter down there on our common winding. For you guys that might not know, Inrush amps, that's always on your common winding, so I am on the black wire there. Try to center it up in your clamp as best as you can. And the meter is going to capture the first 100 milliseconds of startup. Some of you guys might say, well, I do that with my min-max on my meter. That's not good enough. That max setting is not capable of capturing Inrush amperage. It's just not. You're always going to get a much lower reading. You're going to think, hey, I'm fine. That's way below the LRA on the unit. And you have to have a meter with Inrush amps to be able to see what's going on with this compressor on startup. So if you're using a meter that doesn't have Inrush, think about switching up, getting one that does, because it will tell you an awful lot about what's going on with that compressor. And you might be able to save the life of one of these old things if it's pulling high Inrush amps, and you can throw something on there, for under 80 bucks. You're doing a service to the customer. You might extend the life of that compressor on out for a number of years, and that's well worth 80 bucks, So let's just go ahead and throw this in here, see what we come up with. Alright, so that time we weren't quite as high. The first time was like 96. So now we're in that 10 amps over range. You know, we were 76 on the data plate. We're within 10. I would probably let that slide. I'll throw the SPP6 on there anyway, just to see if it brings it down significantly. If I come down well under 76, then I'll leave it on there. The homeowner's already said, you know, do what you got to do. Keep that unit going. So we'll disconnect it. We'll let it sit here for a little while. Let everything equalize. And we'll try it again with the Super Boost on there. See if we get any kind of improvement. Be right back. Alright guys, so we're all set up here with our Super Boost. We're ready to go. The Super Boost is of course going to go from your common terminal to your Rheem. So it's just 2 wires, cut and dry, simple as can be. On these Rheem and Rouge, you just have to be careful. They love putting the hot side of 24 volts over here. So anytime you're monkeying around over here, if you're changing these old metal capacitors, you go to slide that thing up out of there, you touch your 24 volt, you just blew a transformer or popped a fuse. So a lot of times what I'll do, I will switch my brown side, my common, over here to this side, and you know, put my yellow 24 over here. But it's just something to keep in mind when working on these units. But we're all set up here. We're reset. We're ready to throw the disconnect back in, and we'll see if it comes down any. We had 85 on the last startup, and the data plate says 76. So let's see what we got. Alright, so that did bring it down, 68. So, you know, that's kind of borderline there. Homeowner says go ahead and do it, so we'll probably just go ahead and permanently mount that Super Boost in there, leave it on there, help that old compressor start up. It's a 1998, needs all the help it can get. Try to get a few more years out of it at least, but I'm pretty happy with that. It brought it down enough to where I would say it's going to be beneficial and it's worth the money, so we'll go ahead and do it. Anyway, you guys, I appreciate you watching as always. Leave me a thumbs up if you like the video. Leave me a comment below there, and we will catch you the next time. See ya.